And we're back and going to continue here. I'm going to just sculpt a tiny bit on the face, kind of break my rule here. I should really just finish off getting the core volumetric shapes for the arms and legs done first. But since I have my cat sculpture here in front of me, I'm going to just go in here and maybe bring some of these cheekbone areas forward some more. Flare these out. There we go. That's better. And back into wireframe. D a couple times. And what's fun is with the symmetry mode, what I like to do is go to the play build-up brush, and you can have the silhouette on one side of the edge, but then do the brush stroke over here on the other side, which is really a fantastic way to use the technology. So I can push here and see how it's bringing out the silhouette over here while I'm bringing the clay out on this side. And I hit Control D again. There we go. So I know for sure this has to come up there a little bit, and that this eventually is going to come up here. And shift smooth it out a bit more. There we go. And it can always like switch sides and be over here or back. So yeah, the symmetry works really nice for those types of maneuvers. And up to the nose. So I think the tip of the nose should be getting flattened right there. So this is a good spot to use our H polish, which I set up to Control Shift H, and come in a little tighter here. And get a nice kind of sharp ridge. This is specific to the design of the character, these kind of angular separations. There we go. And as I'm going, if I decide I want to change the major shape, Shift D down to lowest poly, Shift V, or Control V, and then I can make these major changes here. And definitely a slope inward, a little, almost like a little fairy creature, right? A little mushroom fairy. The Griggs, the brownies, the pixies. And there we go. That's looking a little better. Go back down again, and from the side. And I'm going to end up adding some edge loops around the eye socket for detail. And then we'll also end up bringing some more detail in here around the sides of the eye socket, like going up into the head. Up here you can see the line work here goes all the way. There's like a nice strong line that goes all the way up into the head up here. So for that part right there, going up, you see where that's going. And if I want, I could hit that and go into the damn standard brush and just define anything that's jagged, just shift, just smooth as you go. And anything that's going to be a really sharp definition there, I'm going to press in with damn standard, come down. And if I don't like it, just undo until I get a nice long contiguous line. Now, if something like that, yeah, I'm all for using the lazy mouse. It's up here, lazy steps, lazy mouse, but I'll have it turned on by default, just barely. I think just it's any jitter in your stroke at all, it can really come out kind of bad. So you have to retopo stuff like that, right? So if you're getting you go Shift F for wireframe, and I didn't have the gills that come off like almost like a little crown off the head. I don't have those in yet, so I'm gonna have to retopologize that. But I'm okay with the rest of the body should be fine, except for maybe some detail around the toes and whatnot. So um, yeah, that's just kind of blocking the major landmarks. So using the dam standard at this point and the H polish or trim dynamic to begin the process of, there we go, to begin the process of all the major landmarks, bony protrusions, overlapping shapes. And there you go, see that line turned out pretty good. You can also go in here and follow around that shape. And there's another one right here. Goes up there and comes out maybe closer to there. We'll see where we want to put that. And it looks like the eyeballs might be a tad bit low, so we can go to the eyeballs and switch over to E. I have the transparency on here. You turn this on with ghosting. That is pretty handy when you get into the other pieces in there. So you really get the eyeballs pretty precise where you want them. And it looks like they could even be a little bit bigger as well. There we go, making sure that they're filling in the space for where the tear duct's going to be. And check it back over on the side view, make sure the front of the eye is pretty close right there. Looks like it could come back a little more still. And you're definitely going to make decisions like what looks better. So you're going to change, make subtle adjustments depending on how strong of a concept artist you're working with, of course. So I'll turn transparency off and I turn the eyeballs on. I like having eyeballs in early on just to keep you sane. Looks like maybe they're set back too far in the eyes now. Let's see, where did it go? Oh yeah, they are set way back there. So but that's where they are on the model, right? So I have to go down here, drop to lowest subdivision a few times, go back to my move topological brush. Let's see how big it is. Huh, interesting. Move topological. Why is that not working? There it goes. Yeah, shortcut keys do stop working in ZBrush sometimes. You gotta set them, re-import. I don't know why, but like any software package, it has its glitches. Stuff will break. There we go, and bring that back in just so enough so that I know the eyeball is roughly the right shape. And then we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna cut in Shift F the edge loops and add the eyelids. So eyelids, lips, ears last, right? So let me back out of there, and let's move on to the rest of the body. So I think we're going to adjust our pure ref here. So for that, I'm going to grab my mouse. So as soon as you hit the pure ref icon down here, click one time, it automatically disables the transparent to mouse. So now I can click on pure ref and I can hit Control Y. It's going to full screen it. And then I have these two, the front and side planes mixed together. And I have the pure ref shortcut keys notes in front of me. So if we're going to get rid of the cropping, so reset the cropping, we hold down Control Shift and then C, and that will undo the cropping that we did. So I can pull that out and zoom back, and I need both of them, Control Shift C. So uncropped them, move them out of the way for a moment, and I can grab the other pieces here and we can blow those up as well. So here's some of the sculpture that I have in front of me. So I can marquee drag all of them and Control Alt Shift left mouse button, left to right. It's gonna get the transparency back all the way. So these two definitely need to have some transparency between them. There's the little foot one as well. So I'll grab these out of the way for a second and bring the foot over. There we go. Nice. And yeah, so get the foot. I'm gonna snap over and bring the foot around in a few different ways. So I think this one, I'm gonna copy and paste it and have one going vertical, and then we'll have the other one. If I hold shift, it'll snap going horizontal. I think this will help as we get down to the foot. And I think overall, yeah, it's a middle mouse drag, right mouse button for the whole window. It does have a little bit of an opposite game going on here from most 3D packages or most digital art interfaces that I'm used to. So I could bring that up a little bit. And same thing with the foot here. We want the foot to be the same. So Control Alt Shift left mouse to make it more transparent. You can zoom in here, make sure that the size is correct. I want to make sure it's as precise as possible. There we go. And I can move those over to the side here. For this particular piece, I like having, if I hold down C, I like having the crop being right about here. And then this one here, same thing, I like the crop right about there. There we go. So that helps a lot, and I can grab all of these, Control Shift, left click, hit them all maximum opacity, and then bring them down to a state where we're gonna be able to see well inside the ZBrush interface. Maybe the feet can be brought back up a little bit. So we're still on top of the ZBrush app, so just hit Control Y. Let's see this one here. I can kind of bring down. I guess I could leave it up here, maybe. I don't know. See, Control Y is going to full screen it again. And then we want to select all, so Control A, grab all of them, bring them up here. That, and then scale down, or up, I should say. I'm dragging down the corner. Maybe grab just this one. Maybe it doesn't need to be quite so large. Control A again. And get them all full size. They're about like that. And I think this one here, I'm going to just bring this down. Bring this over, lower its opacity way down. And then this piece out here, I don't think I really need it, so I'm just going to bring it to the corner and just scrunch it way down to the side. Okay, that should be good. It's not covering any vital UI information. I could even bring it to the side. I know I don't, I try to keep the brush overload to a minimum, so only like 10 to 12, 13 brushes maximum. That's pretty good. Okay, Control T should freeze our overlay. So Control T, there we go, transparent mouse enabled. Now I'm back in ZBrush only with my Pure Ref helping out. And yeah, let's keep looking at the arm and the hands here. So I think if I look right here, make sure I'm have perspective mode off. I think right in here we can do some major adjustments. He has huge wrists. Make sure I click on something so it rotates at the local side. There we go. And the top of that wrist should come upward, of course. And it's going to get real lumpy if I go too fast. So yeah, just bear with me. Just have fun with it. It comes to life really fast this way. It's so much easier than trying to do it from scratch and then retopoing a rough sketch, having that biped recipe ready. So there we go. And then if the pure rough lines are in the way, I'm just going to go over here to the side. There we go. I keep meaning to hit the Alt button. I hit my spacebar and accent. There we go. Get this. It's all about the curve, the arc flow curve. So you don't want any zigzags. You don't want it kind of zigzagging back and forth. So you want to try and keep all the arcs nice and elegant and smooth. And it's about making the arc flow go the correct direction. If my tricep arc, for instance, here is going this way, that's the wrong direction for the arc flow. The tricep should definitely be going back this way, right? So making sure your arcs for each muscle group are going in the correct direction, making sure they're elegant, watching out for peaks and valleys. And that is a huge step up. So it's already, maybe I made him a little bit too big. I mean, his biceps and upper leg kind of small in proportion to his lower. That's a conscious design. It's a conscious design decision I made there, but that looks about right. He ends up being a little bit of a buff guy after all. Hero character, right? All right, there we go. So come back to the side here, maybe a little bit bigger, and yeah, maybe for focusing on the arms, let's go ahead and Control Shift Alt. Let's hide this parts we don't need. You could make polygroups out of them, but this should be fine. There we go. So now I'm not going to worry about accidentally clicking on the backside so much the whole time I'm trying to work on this. There we go. And let's get the curl of the fingers flowing correctly. It's another one with a very noodly at the moment. Zoom in here so you can see. And he's got 3 fingers, 1 thumb, or 2 fingers and a thumb, so 3 kind of thumb is a finger. Down here at the end, right here, it's kind of curving the wrong direction. That really bothers me, so I'll, whoops. Yeah, we'll make this work. And go to E, Alt tap, and we're going to go to the curvature of the, let's see if I can unlock that. Down here, the tip, I'm going to curve that, unlock that again. There we go. So you see it's too much, so smooth that out. Control drag, I just want just the tip of that finger. Control tap and curl. There we go. That's getting a little bit better. And that's just how you can rotate individual pieces, right, as you're going here. Better than nothing. I think again, I don't think it's just my limitation on mastering the new gizmo tool or new-ish gizmo tool. So I'm just going to do this by hand. Just push these around. Yeah, anytime the tool doesn't do what you want, you'll you'll find your mojo. The software, I'm sure. There we go. I'm just trying to get these edge loops all parallel to the knuckle. They shouldn't be diagonal. Go to the other one here, same thing. If I hold the left click, it also pulls up. It's a space bar, but also if you can get the hot menu to the key control. So I know the tips of the fingers are going to be bigger, and he's going to have kind of these long digging claws as well. Oops, that's bad. There we go. Okay, so let's pull one side, other side, one side, other side. Looks good. In the palm of the hand, on the side. Looks good. Maybe the space between the knuckles here, because it'd be a little more narrow. So I'll bring this in, make my brush a little smaller. There we go. I kind of want that webbing of the finger. Ah, I found an error right there. There's two triangles right there. So that is a problem. That should continue across there and go under and see if I did the same thing on the other side. Yeah, that's correct on that side. So I got to fix this side. So yeah, don't do any high resolution detail because then you have to transfer the data over to when we go and fix the model. So I'm going to just be doing some model fixes here pretty soon. There it goes, more diagonals. So when I kind of fix any of those diagonals right away, from any large noodle-like movements. There we go. And inflate would work pretty well here as well. So I inflate set up to Control N for inflate because Control N does not do a new file in ZBrush like you might suspect. It does in every other application. There we go. So I'm pushing around. There we go. Control N, inflate. Whoops. Control N. So it looks like my hotkeys are not working for some strange reason. I don't know why. There's a padding underneath, and then do the top of the knuckles. And, or you could also just use the clay buildup brush. That still works for whatever reason. There we go. And the back side of the palm, the meat of the hand, you have the palm of the thumb here, and as well as the meat of the hand. So I'll smooth it one time. Come back over there and down. There we go. And the top of the hand, the tenon. So again, stopping before I do too much detail, getting the general volumetric shape and realizing that, yeah, we're going to add some digging fingernails on this guy at the lowest polygon. So I'm going to end up extruding out on the tips of his fingers these four quads right here. I'm going to pull those out a bit so he's got a little bit more of a nail for that. We didn't do the thumb yet or the finish the wrist, so that still needs to be much thicker. But if I'm looking at it from the side view here, I think that is working much better in relation to the concept. Yeah, it's pretty close now. And again, I didn't want his hands quite that long, so I'm going to stop there. Might make him a little bigger still. Let's go ahead and do that. So we'll come from underneath the side and kind of broaden out the um, spatula, palm of the hand region a little bit more. And make these a little bit bigger. There we go. And the inner one's going to be a little bit bigger than the outer finger. Try not to make anything identical sizes in any organic creature. It looks really odd if you did that. Yeah. So there you go. So yeah, from the side they're very wide, but then they're still kind of narrow from this perspective. So that's easy to fix. Oh, the thumb's really bad. Haven't touched the thumb enough at all. So let's do the thumb real quick. So get to an angle. I click on it, and I'm just going to an angle where I can really work on the thumb, um, where it's flat to the screen from different angles that I want it to be flat. So you can see right here is a zigzag. It dips in and then curves back out again. So that's always a problem. So you want to address that right away by grabbing and moving these around. And I think like the other fingers, there was no problem so much on, not so much problem on the width as the how high it was this way. It's way too thin still, so we'll pull this out and pull these up. Great deal. There we go. Okay, that's pretty good. It looks like I hit the head on accident. Whatever you tap on, that should do a local rotation. That's your local right here. If I hover over the top of this icon, if you ever get out of that local transformations, hold down Control. Button determines how resize and rotate actions are performed while editing in 3D. The precedence causes it to be centered upon the most recent editing point. So that is uber important. So yeah, that looks good. I think the whole thumb could come down a bit more from the palm. So I'm going to give that a shot here. Control tap and maybe remove some more of the masking there near the palm. There we go. And then we'll go to E, Control tap one time. Unlock, there it is. Let's see, yeah, I'm having a hard time again with that gizmo. I don't know where it is, it's over there. Let's see, up here, and I'm gonna have to do a fresher on the gizmo in ZBrush. There we go. There, should be good, and then we'll rotate that, lock it. That's what I was forgetting to do. And yeah, so it's moving the wrist also. I want to go back to Q and mask the rest of that wrist off. Make sure to accidentally soften the mask up around. Yeah, I did on accident. There we go. Go back to E, and now we'll give it a shot. So I want to rotate that. In my previous videos, I did the hand. It's 45 degrees roughly down, 45 degrees roughly out. Yeah, it's still doing up there. Mask that, hold Control, and just mask the shit out of that. Make sure the wrist is not moving at all. Just want the thumb. There we go, out, and then 45 degrees if you're facing the palm. Oops, this way. It's 45 degrees down. Oh, there we go. So that's looking better a little bit. Let's see, so unlock that. Let's get the rotation to there. Relock it and bring it down somewhere and rotate. Yeah, and this way. Okay, so that's looking pretty good, I think. I can go back to my regular Q button, clear the mask, and now we can repair the damage done. My noodle moves. Maybe you shouldn't be watching my how-tos on using the gizmo. Yeah, I'll get better at it. Don't worry, we'll get better at it together. There we go. Up there, and yeah, so it's got a little wonky there. Let's bring those back out again. The palm and here, D one time. You definitely want a good pad for the thumb down here, and the bone. It's a fairly good sized knuckle. Whoa, it comes out the backside over here. So I'm using the build up tool to bring that knuckle back out the side, then down over here. Control N down. If that again that arc zips down right there, probably not. So let's make sure that all the arcs are flowing and then correct direction as it goes. Yep. Here's that one. That one. Tips coming out a little bit more smooth. Go to the other spot in the bottom of the thumb. Make sure that center edge of the plane is in the center when it should be at least. You can double check on the undersides of these fingers as well. There's a little peak and valley right here, so kind of adjust those too. Adjust that one. It's the back of the knuckle. So yeah, it still looks too flat from here, so we'll go to Control B. Nice, a bit bigger brush. Looks like I accidentally pushed the focal shift over. You can even subdivide it one time if you want. And bring that back to the tendons and the knuckle. So the knuckling we'll talk a lot about, getting the knuckles right. ZBrush is really wonderful for doing knuckles and wrinkles and pores. This intersection here of the wrist, likewise, should be nice and thick. Looks like that got crumpled down itself a little. There we go. Control Z, straighten that out a little bit better. There we go. It's not quite so smashed flat now as it was. And it's even got a little tiny bit of a relaxed curl to it, although it's kind of coming up a bit. That's kind of sometimes happens with the pointer finger, so that doesn't bother me so much. The thickness on the wrists and the forearm looks better here. Could be bigger judging from the sculpture I have in front of me. So, and this is still way too zigzaggy for my taste right here. So let's get the inside of this part right here. So bring those out some more. There we go. Bring the top of that form up some more, make it a little bit bigger on this top side, and then also the elbow. I think I'm going to define the actual elbow icon or vertex point, icon point. There we go. Smooth it out again. Cool. All right. A few more times. There we go. So I had kind of had started doing a collarbone, but ended up getting rid of it. There we go. You can now see where we're at. Getting that done. There's a collarbone right there. So if I want to define that now, let's see what icon I'm hitting. There we go. So I can go to back to the Damien standard brush, right? Alt M. Hopefully, yeah, looks like shortcut key's not working. Not cool. Go across there and then down. And then I can zoom in here. Subdivide. Unhide everything. Whoops. There we go. And just go right across. And dip down. Then you see the sternocleidomastoids right there as well, so you can kind of get that going. Maybe a little tighter. And then it comes down. So the point you can feel the tendon in your neck there. So a good one, fun one to do. Control B, so that one still works for whatever reason. That's strange. Okay, so again, main landmarks. Just about ready with the volumes to go through and finish those, so I'll kind of stop myself. I just saw a landmark to do as I was shaping, but yeah. Hopefully my reference isn't in your way. It's kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of debating how I want to adjust this new workflow with really highlighting. Um, Pure ref is my main reference. Go getter. Then down here, spectral goes up into the sternocleidomastoid. Shift smooth it out. Do my shift trick a little bit. There we go. Make it smooth. Collarbone kind of sticks out more here. The front, there's an S to the collarbone as well. It curves out here and then back around this way. So from the top down, you can see here, this is way, way off. So yeah, gotta fix that. So grab that point, bring it forward, smooth one time, make sure that this is coming forward a lot. And I think the whole arm can come forward just a little bit. All right, let's go move to the legs though for a little bit. So going to hide all of that. And the eyeballs are on a different subtool. Don't need that. And let's focus on just doing the legs for a little bit. So the legs are very odd shape. It's egg, legs, and feet. And let's go ahead and do that. So go down here to the Pure Ref. I'll turn on the transparency disable mode. Click on that. Click Control Y, Control A, selects all. Zoom out for a moment. And what I can do is grab just the feet here and make them really big. I think is the easiest way to do this. And then rotate them around. That. Whoa, I wonder if that got caught up on the mic. There we go, and then bring it down a bit. Maybe they're a little too transparent, we'll see. Control Y, Control Y again, they can be even bigger. Oops. Oops. I'm grabbing these. Yeah, I love learning new softwares. Each time it's another. Let's see, want to make it freeze, Control T. Each time presents a new challenge though, right? So I'm working on the legs and the feet here, and I think the front of the shin is kind of a unique shape to it. And so Shift D, go back down the subdivision, should be okay, but the toes are definitely have some big knuckles here. So let's finish hiding some of this. Don't need any of that. Up to the kneecaps, I guess. Good place to do it. All right, so shrink that down. Okay, looks like that's kind of working. Maybe right there. The top, I don't think I have a nail. So similar to with the fingers, I might end up adding nails to the toes as well. There's a kneecap, and there's the front of the shin. Oh, there's the ankle, at least on the outside. There's that first toe, so we'll go there. It'd be cool if one of these days I had a multi-viewport. I know it's pixels. There we go. And snap that down, bring it over. Yeah, now you can really see just how insanely narrow the toes are and where they should be. So, oops, let's see, is it this way? Is this way? I almost put the wrong foot on there. A little bigger. I can also come up this way and snap it and bring it over this way. I think that was the other way I was thinking of doing this. It really makes sense. So let's do that. So I'll go back down to Pure Ref and click at one time, disable on, grab the two, Control Y, grab this one and just shrink it back down out of the way for a moment. And grab this one and let's blow this bad boy way up. There we go. And I can even hit C and I can even crop it down some more as needed. Control Y, bring it back over, and Control T to freeze it once more. Now, if I go back into ZBrush, oops, what the hell just happened? Okay. I can work at a space where I can see a bit better. So I'm going to finish hiding that and just focus on the foot for a moment. Kind of like we did with the hands. Hands, feet, and face are all going to take more detail, more time than usual for the um, detail that's in there, all the different joints at each knuckle. The face you'll see is, wow, like a totally different beast. There we go. A little toe. Aw, cute little mushroom toes. And if I see them, if I can sense them kind of folding over on themselves, I'll zoom in, snap, and make sure that I'm not letting too much of these edge loops get away from me early on. So just nudging, you see I'm just nudging very slowly and deliberately a little bit at a time. See that arc's getting all crazy. Kind of pull. There we go. Nice. Bring it back over. Cool. A little more rounded. Go from the side view. And we'll decide if we want to make that edge for the nail coming out or not. So same thing's going to happen up here. See the big toe is totally jacked. And the ball of the foot over here as well. It's big, you got big feet. And I might not want them to be that big. I think the floppy feet was one of those design decisions. It was cool when I sculpted it. I liked it. And then if it's not practical or functional enough, or like, they're going to crisscross or touch, he's going to have like a bow-legged gait to his walk. And I might not want that. So I'll resize the hands and feet in proportion as you do your animation for your film or game development. Core mechanics and movements. When he holds a staff, I made his hands smaller because when he held the staff, it was like a little toothpick in his giant hands. So then any staff he held had to have this ridiculous thickness to it. It was like a thick rod almost. So a little magic wand, you have to hold it in the tips of his fingers, which could be, entertaining, could be fun. It depends on what you want. There we go. All right. And a little wider up here. We know it's going to be wider. So I don't need to have it measured right to the image plane too. Maybe I'm trying to do that too much because this is kind of a different way of working for me. So all those years of winging it with that drawing, not being confident enough in my drawing ability. I can't stress enough, just go for it. Just use your ruler, measure, make sure they're close, get the proximity down, and then you can worry about quality as you go, later in the process. I think that's good advice to give to any artist, veteran or new. There we go. So yeah, this is way bigger still happening in here. So kind of making sure this isn't going to get all diagonal and mess up all the curves. So I'm just pushing a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, a little bit. Go one side, then I pull the other side. You see that keeps the line almost perfectly straight. That's what I'm shooting for. I want to keep everything as functional. I want to minimize cleanup the whole time doing this, right? So if it takes an extra 5 or 10 minutes, no problem. It's better than it taking much longer than 5 or 10 minutes, 20, 30 minutes, whatever. There you go. Let me move that out of the way for a second. I was just kind of seeing where everything was underneath there. I couldn't see as clearly as I would like. the edge loops are kind of bunched together. You can kind of spread them apart some more as well. Might have to do some more changes from underneath. I was looking at some gecko feet for one of my other characters, and I really liked the gecko foot analogy, so might revisit that also with this character. They have these little like barbs under their feet. I would say microscopic, but they're not even microscopic. They're just straight up little barbs. You can see them. I fill them too. Shift smooth out a little. Hopefully it keeps the base is still nice and flat, so I'm doing okay there. Yeah, so they look like little gecko feet almost, don't they? I think so. I'm just channeling my inner gecko, whether I know it or not. There we go. And then the heel out here, bring the heel and slowly make it so it's not quite so narrow. And that is pretty good right there. Looks like this could still be spread out some more. These are too bunched up at the edge loops. So just going to spread those edge loops out nice and comfortably. And I might take notes too, like so that when you go back into whatever I'm using Maya, if you're Blender or whatever, each step you go, you don't want to go back and forth too much if you can avoid it. So make sure you take notes. Okay, like when I go back into Maya, I'm going to redo the edge loop flow topology for the face. I'm going to redo the edge loop topology for the top of the head where the gills blend into the cap. Also going to check out the edge loop topology for the fingernails and toenails, the parts I'm working right here. And I'll make an extra note for that also to check out the edge loops for the knuckles of the toes and the feet, see if they need to be adjusted. Because those are hard. Those are hard to get perfect. Those are hard to get just right in here sometimes, depending on which way you're using which tool. So yeah, see, there's kind of a lot of edge loops. Maybe I don't need all those edge loops for the little toe on the side. That's in effect his little toe. But I don't know, I kind of like it. So make sure that's curving out, curving out. And this side over here, make sure it's curving out. I think I did put those extra edge loops in here. Whoops. What did I do? RGB intensity now. Yeah. Yeah, I think I put those extra edge loops in here specifically so that he could have those toenails read well and coming out. These little, almost like little mini hoof nails, hoof toes, like little individual ones. All right, go from the side view. So I could go up here and click side, like that, and give it another look. And definitely, just like with the hand, there's a lot more thickness to it in this dimension. So let me go try and grab what I can there. Ah, what am I doing? That was not good. There we go. There it goes. And yeah, if you accidentally click on the empty space, it'll rotate on you suddenly. So yeah, there's that big toe. That's cool. And maybe the angle of these edge loops is a little too diagonal, so I can go in here a little bit more deliberately and carefully, although it looks good. There's a little bend right there. I didn't realize they're getting a little bunched up there as well. So kind of bring these diagonals back to this is the main one here that was really far this way. So I wanted to kind of relax that when it comes to the knuckle, make it kind of slowly match the angle of the knuckle going over the top of that ridge right there. And then look at it from the front view. Look at it from every view. Look at that. So I really missed that one right there. Look at it from every view you can and see if your edge loops are long, smooth, edge loops where they should be, and then change them where they should not be. Of course, so this actually, this one down there, one up here, this can actually come down quite a bit, I think. Or this one could come up, but I gotta be careful with the size of my brush. I don't want to bring up the bottom of the foot too much here. But I think I'm gonna not do too much there. I want to leave that as is a bit and do the detail and the final sculpt when I get the cage where I want the all the edge loops in the lowest poly. Because I'm going to end up dividing one time like that. That's going to be our game character right here. So let me control tap. So here's we're pretty close. But see how the feet are coming together? They're starting to touch on there. Not super excited about how he has to walk. So I still need to do the upper leg, a little bit more in the lower leg, and some around his pelvic region and the abdomen, and then I can sculpt some more in the back. And then I think he's good to go. Let's see if I can get rid of the pure ref for just a moment. We'll undo the pure ref and then go here and then hit Control Y and then Alt Tab back over to ZBrush, or sorry, overlays, Control Y. There we go. Oh, this black part I thought was ZBrush. There it is. It's up here. Haha. So this is here still. Always on top. Control Shift A. That's the one I did. Control Shift A. There we go. Now if I hit ZBrush, there we go. All right. Yep. Once again, just have my PureRef main tools. There's only a dozen or so that you got to memorize, and that you'll watch me evolve with it, and hopefully you'll evolve along with me. All right, let's see how this is looking. Yeah, it's a little jagged, but that's to be expected because we're sort of carving in some detail and some edges maybe where they were not needed yet. And his arms are too far back. It's a common error that I make. They should be maybe here. And but yeah, I think that's good for this video. We'll come back and we'll explore getting those areas done, and then we'll have our low poly base mesh. We'll bring it back into Maya and carve in some of the main edge loops, redo some topology with the quad draw, and bring it back in. Then we can start actually sculpting. Yay! So that's going to be the most fun part. Yeah, I'll continue to maybe address the size of his feet, size of hands for making them playable. I think bringing this toe forward a bit more and maybe bringing this whole ball foot in just a little bit. So right here, I think that's what got away. And I was following the drawing at least, so I think we could do that now. So we'll just bring that in a little bit, bring that in. There we go, bring it in. There we go, there. Yeah, that's better. Still want that big ball of foot, and I still want that kind of massive ankle, because he does like Hulk hyper leaps, right? That's his part of his character. Make sure the edge up here we go. This is the part where it gets angled if I do it just from the bottom. So angle here, grab that edge up, and then redistribute that flow here. Make sure that core edge up across the top of the toe isn't getting wonky, getting bent or kind of melted-ish, warped looking. Yeah, from the front view there, you can see it's angled. If you don't ever want to see that, you want to redistribute the flow here. And at this point, I'm just using my mouse even, so I'm making sure I'm really accurate with how this goes. Look at it from the bottom again. F on the keyboard, curl around. There we go. Yeah, pretty close. I think the front one here as well is like a little curve here more than over there. So we'll just even that up a little. All right. Sweet. Mush is almost ready for detailing. All right. I'll see you in the next video.